Good afternoon. My name is R.P. Singh. I am the Vice President for Smart Energy Water Asia Pacific region. We had a very insightful session from Mr. Ashok and Mr. Rathi. And it's very, couple of things what they've shared is very interesting to know. While the whole world talks about India being a water-stressed nation, what we came to know, it's an eye-opening for us that India is not a water-stressed nation as of now. There is enough water in the country. It's how we manage that and how we conserve that. And if we don't take those steps right now, maybe a couple of years down the line, we might become a water-stressed nation. And just before the lunch, we were also having a very interesting discussion. As Mr. Ashok was pointing out, 80 to 85% of the water goes into irrigation. Now, an interesting point which Mr. Sunil from CWC pointed out today morning, out of that 80% of the water which goes to irrigation, 80% is unutilized. So effectively for irrigation, only 20% of the water is used. So I think the mindset and the thought process of the country has to change. Mere paas maa hai, that attitude has to, while we all love that statement, but in terms of conduct for the country, for the conservation of water, I think that kind of a thought process has to change. So the idea behind today's discussion is, how do we do that? How do we get into a trend of getting into water conservation for the country? So primarily two things which I can think of. One is that how do we educate the customers? The primary thing is that we have to educate people. It is not about we put all kinds of control, because water, when we start comparing water and electricity, the growth path could be same, but these are two totally different sectors. In, like Mr. Ashok said, electricity, when you put a meter, you can measure electricity, but you can't measure that air which comes into the water pump, into the water meter. So it is all about changing a mindset, changing a thought process of the people, and it is how you educate them. It's the more information you give it to them, then that goes into changing the thought process of people. So precisely that's what we do. I come from a company which is a US-based company, and there are three critical areas which we focus on. One is on the customer engagement, customer experience side of it, where what we do is we convert the data into information. I think data does not have any meaning if it is not converted into a meaningful information for the customer. And the customer should be able to understand what that data means to them. So that is precisely what we do on one part of this. Second part of it is on the workforce management, automation, which is on the side of field force for any utility. When they get a complaint, how the complaints are handled. Traditionally, people used to get a work order which was written on the paper and give it to a lineman to go and do the repairing job for a lineman. 90% of the, on the water side of it, we all know lineman will go there and nothing would be done. And we have all have experienced that. That's the reason that's the reason where you will find unequal supply of water. While we were discussing in the morning that average available water in Delhi, per capita water in Delhi is more than Paris. It's a news. And we see people in Delhi saying that I am running shortage, there is a shortage of water in Delhi. Where the water what we get in Delhi is more than what is supplied in Paris. The average per capita availability, if it is below 1700, it is said to be stressed. An average in India is 2200. For some of the states, it might be less. That means there is an unequal distribution of water. So how do we capture that data as part of information and supply to the consumer? And on the other part, how does it benefit the utility? So that's precisely what we do. And in a couple of minutes, I want to cover that. Some of the data which I share might not be so accurate, because there are a lot of data which has come up from Mr. Ashok, Mr. Rathi, and Mr. Sunil, who is there from CWC. So I have some figures which might be a little different from that. So snapshot of India, it's known 21 cities are at the risk of day zero water as of 2020. Which statement is also, it's also a little different, because this, when people say at day zero situation, it is the groundwater. That's what we understood today. It is groundwater. Actually, the surplus water is there. India has a lot of surplus water, and as Mr. Ashok was saying, how is that we conserve that water? It's rainwater conservation on the large areas. And the other thing is how we control the non-revenue water. That's very important. So when I say non-revenue water is, so I'm sure a lot of people will understand non-revenue water. What gets fed and what gets utilized, the difference between that is non-revenue water. Some of the figures which might be alarming is that why did Chennai went into water crisis? Chennai went into water crisis because the non-revenue water for Chennai was 50%. While in average what we say it has to be 15%, it was 50% for Chennai. That is why it went into a situation where they had a drought-like situation last year. So Chennai is trying to recover. They are doing some kind of an activities, how is that they can recover. And some of the areas we are also working with the state governments to come out with the thought process how you can do that. So this was a snapshot of India water situation. So actually in supply and demand, there is a gap which is going up. Now how do you reduce the gap? Either you increase the supply, or you increase the productivity of water, or you reduce the demand. So there are three ways of doing it. So supply side we don't have any issue. What we need to do is we need to work on the two parts, which is one is the increasing the productivity of water. Second is how you can control the demand side of it. One part of controlling the demand is then you change the thought process of the country. Forget about doing paddy irrigation, get into different kind of an irrigation. You stop paddy irrigation, the water demand goes down. 80% of the water gets saved if you don't supply into irrigation part of it. But yes, even if you are able to control 20 to 30% part of it and focus, let's say we get import of rice, 20% import of rice, and we save 20 to 30% water for the country. I think those kind of a thought process, a mindset has to change, and you have to educate people for that. So India water challenges we all know. I think this is nothing new. The one thing which I want to cover is the areas related to customer issue resolution, rising customer expectations, and low customer awareness. So we have seen when we talked about AT&T losses in the country, it used to be close to 90%. In Delhi itself, it was AT&C losses was 50%. You see, it's 15 years before when it got privatized. The losses was in the tune of 50%. How did it come down from 50% to 7 to 8% in Delhi? It is all about, one, you started automatic thing, you started using technology. Third is you started giving customer the information what they wanted. Now and you started streamlining the process of billing to the customer, generating bills for the customer, and making it very simple for them to pay for the bills. So that is how people started getting more education on it, people started getting ease to use this, and they were made accountable for that. So the AT&T losses have come down drastically. You know, it's still in the average range of 19 to 20%, but far more better than what it was earlier. So how did it come down? Use of technology. I think technology plays a very critical role. While human also plays a very critical role in any development of a country or any change of a thought process, technology plays a very critical role. Tamil Nadu, we just discussed about it. So a lot of activities, these were the challenges what I just discussed. The average per capita water for Tamil Nadu as of now is 900. I told you, anything below 1700 is a stressed situation. So 900, you can imagine, and it's the state where most of the urbanization is happening. Imagine a situation when 48 to 50% of the people will live in urban areas. Now this 900 might become 200 if the conservation thoughts are not fed into the system. People are not aware of such kind of challenges they might face in future. So these were the steps which Chennai took. I think this year the situation will be much better. They worked with government for some funding scheme, implemented some smart meters, education program for the customers, and they were able to control some amount of losses which they had, putting flow meters, reducing the flow of the water. That's how they used to conserve water. So it was a thought process change in the consumer's mind. That's how they could do that. The way forward. There are three things which are important. One is that you give a customer an experience of interacting with utilities. And second is data-driven decisions. So data, when you pull the data from the end user, how you convert them into information which can be utilized by the customer and the utilities to take decision. It's very important. Data for you without any information is useless. How you put analytics on top of it, how you run. So there are certain things what we do, put AI, machine learning, IoT stuff, and convert that data into important analytics, which we share with the customer and we share with the utilities, and critical decisions can be taken. So some of the things like if there is an unequal flow of water which is happening, if there is a leakage and it is an unusual leakage, data will help you identify that. People say that you have to put so much of money, put smart meters, put a lot of things. But if there is a way to capture some data, from a simple thing like capturing the bill of a customer and running the analytics on top of it, you can capture where the leak is happening. And when that information is fed to the customer and it is fed to the utility, customer at an end can become, customer can become informed about what issues will happen with, let's say, his billing might shoot up. On the other hand, utility might come to know about that where the challenge is, where the issue is, and they can send the person to resolve the issue. So that is how it becomes very, very useful for both of them. Behavioral change is very important. So maybe how technology can help them? If the customers are connected to utility, nowadays if you see, there is a change in trend of how customers use technology. Earlier people used to go to the portal, they used to go to mobile web to find information. Now 90% of the people with a smartphone would want to use everything on the mobile app. If you have information available on mobile app, people are bound to go and touch that app and find the information customized for them. So companies are wanting to give a personalized information to the customer. So if I can give a personalized information to a customer that your water usage is going up, your bill for the month might go up, you might have so much of cumulative money loss for the year, I think that is going to change the thought process of anybody. So on a simple click of a button on the mobile, he gets the entire information. And more than that, you can keep giving notification. You can keep pushing notification. It's a two-way communication which can happen. Even the customer can give the feedback to utility. If they face an issue, if there is a leakage happening, customer can get simply on a mobile app, send the information to utility. There is a leak, there is a problem in this particular area. Utility can take an action. So it is beneficial to both of them. So this is what a digital customer experience, which I was sharing, can change the landscape of the entire stuff. Customer can be more informed. It's a real-time two-way communication. Proactive alerts can be given. Customer can have the self-service capability. They can do water monitoring can be done. Bill savings can be done. You can run rebate schemes. As of now, see, by another reason why did Chennai had so much of losses, you have a flat rate. Flat rate, if you give somebody a flat rate, they're not bothered about how much water gets wasted. If our production cost for water is 40 rupees for 1,000 liter, and if we sell at 25 rupees, the loss is bound to happen to the utility. And if I give a flat rate that you have 8 rupees for 10,000 liters, and beyond that there's no rate, this is bound to have wastage. So if you have differential rate for differential times, you run a rebate scheme for the customers, you give them incentives for conserving water. Those are the things which will help customers. And everything is ready, it's available, it's running. Some of the things might not be running in India because water is a new area for the country, but a lot of things are running elsewhere in the globe. And there are a lot of use cases which are there, which can be shared with utilities. And the ROI for any utility is sure to come over a period of time. See, how utility can benefit from this is water efficiency, promoting sustainability, leakage alerts, saving program, self-service capability. This is what we were just discussing. So it benefits both the customer, both the utilities. It's very simple. How does a customer logs in a complaint, and in an automated fashion it goes to the utility. Customer has an app. On the customer side of it, he can just by pressing a button, he can log in a complaint. Automatically that complaint will go to utility. Either the administrator in the utility can manually assign a complaint to somebody, or it is an automated process. Automatic scheduling can be done to a person who is available at a site. GIS-based mapping can be done with the skill set of the person who can solve the problem. Automatic routing of the complaint can be done. So the complaint goes to that person, he resolves the complaint. On the complaint site itself, with a mobile app, he can send the information to the utility, the problem has been resolved. And to monitor whether that actually has been resolved, it is all GIS mapped. So now nobody, not a lineman can say that I went to the site, I solved the problem. You have a full authority, you have full open view to check whether that guy exactly went there or not. What time did he go? And he can also click the picture, send it on the app itself to the utility, and utility can monitor that for a record. With full information on what are the resources you need to resolve the problem. It's all there on the app itself. So that's how it has become a so connected world. Once that problem has been solved, the automated message can go to a customer that your problem has been solved. So it has become a fully automated stuff which benefits both the customer and utility. I think such kind of things will definitely help change the landscape. So this is a CSR activity which started last year. The thought process behind this is that how is that we can contribute to increasing the behavioral change and how we can work towards conserving the water for the country. So we started a free app which is available on the App Store. Anybody can download this app, and whenever you see a leakage happening anywhere, you can just click the photograph. You just send the PIN code. That information comes to a database. With the help of PIN code, we will route that complaint to the relevant utility which lies in that PIN code area. So that's how it's a small initiative from us. If we can help conserve water, I would request everybody to go to the site and check the app. It's free, and utilities have started getting information from people. So that's the kind of, if we have more awareness in people, that if whenever you see a leakage, send this information, people will start doing that, and that's how we can control, let's say even if we can control 10%.
Why PIN code?
So PIN code is to identify the area where the leakage
location,
is. Location.
No.
We have still not GIS mapped it. So to mapping, we can do that. We have this facility where we can map GIS. But we can do that. That's possible.
But PIN code will cover a larger area.
Yeah, so we have our database which has captured all the PIN codes of the country. All the areas have been mapped with the PIN code. You just need, let's say if I am in this area, I see a leakage, I click the photograph and send the PIN code to the site itself. Automatically that information is routed to the nearest utility which is there. And we have mapped the PIN code to that utility contact details. So most of them we have mapped. Something if it is left, we will still map that. So that's an initiative we are trying to do. That's a very good idea. If we can do a GIS mapping, we will try to do that as well, sir.
And coordinates we can also give.
Nowadays, mobile phone, that's what I was saying.
Absolutely. Yes.
Location you can.
GIS map, yes. While we are doing it for a commercial stuff, we do that. When I have to do a workforce automation stuff, whenever somebody goes to the site, it is all GIS map, and lat long information is all captured to the right point where the meter has been installed. So same we can do with this as well. It's very much possible. Thank you so much, sir. We'll work on this thing, sir. So this is value delivered to the utilities, more connected with the customer, reduce water usage, differential experience for the customers. So these are some things which we've already discussed. Something about my company. We are a US-based multinational, present in 20 countries, close to 700 people. 600 people are the developer who are sitting in India. We've got close to 250 utilities globally who are running on our platform. We're touching around 360 million people. Most of the utilities, water, power, gas, are from the North America side, Europe, Australia, Hong Kong. These utilities we've already got on our system. In India also we've got 3 live cases, but that's on the power side of it and gas side of it. Water is one area where we are trying to get into it. Hopefully we're doing water for the other countries, and India is one new area where we'll love to have a discussion with the authorities. So these are the 3 portfolios which I was talking about: customer mobile app, workforce automation, and Smart IQ. So the first 2 stuff, one is for the customer side of it, the other is for the workforce automation. Third one is building analytics on top of it. One is I can give the basic information, I can give all kind of reports. Second is I can give all kind of analytics. On whatever data we have, analytics, intelligent information to the utilities and to the customer. precisely that's what we do. We are there at booth number 25. We'd love to have more discussions with you. If anybody wants to have a discussion, we can have more detailed discussion. Happy to have conversation here as well if anybody has any question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.